New viewers, what if I told you that this cross, getting ready to cross right here, see this green zone getting ready to cross and it's going to flip red? It has a 100% historical hit rate, not necessarily 100% chance that it happens in the future or even now, but a 100% historical hit rate of being associated with a downside move in Bitcoin from the cross itself of 25% to 72%. We're going to dive into this today, and I'm going to show you how to use the same EMA fill called a rolling weekly 10 and weekly 21 EMA cross so that you can see what I feel the algorithms are looking at even more specifically than the mega bearish, worse than a death cross itself. Let's jump into it. You ready? Let's get it. We're going to zoom into this bad boy right here just so you can see what is happening with price. I'm going to go down to the 1 minute chart. I have overlaid a box on top of this EMA fill so you can see how price is interacting with this. I need to put in, here we go. That is the actual cross itself on a weekly time frame, and so price on the 1 minute comes up, gets rejected, puts in a higher low, goes above it, comes back down, and is now playing inside of it. And from last week, we spoke about this area rather clearly. Here are a couple quick highlights. So I start caring about price, downside movements, downside targets, only when price is below 25.2. If I get a bearish engulfing 4-hour candle, and that 4-hour candle, doesn't go below 25.2, I don't care. And another one, Bitcoin might just go up there and touch that, and that would end up being essentially the most common way to get rejected by an EMA band or by resistance in general, whether it's a horizontal, an ascending origin line, a descending channel line if price were below it. Among the most common ways to get rejected is to slightly go over it. So this is this band, or the weekly 10 and 21 on a rolling basis is the resistance. Price goes above it, and when it comes back to touch it, it falls back through, does a lower high, and comes down. Or reverse, you come up to it, get rejected, put in a higher low, go above it, and then fail. So either a and that was my most likely out of 3 scenarios that I gave. That was my most likely scenario and my favorite scenario that I wanted to provide to everybody. And now the move appears to be happening. However, this move could go well above it. So what we're going to do here in this video today, and I will make this quick because price really hasn't done a whole lot. I mean, it's still exactly it's in the parameters of the last video that I just made, the last YouTube video. Be aware, though, that traditional markets were down today while Bitcoin was up. So if you see, you can use IXIC ticker, you can use US 500 Pepperstone chart, it doesn't matter. But what I would do here is this. I would look at one of these charts on the daily. Okay, so I know you're a crypto person, this might sound foreign to you, but if this chart right here gets a big green daily candle, the pre-markets were down, Bitcoin was going up. If the markets, traditional markets, best seen by the indices, IXIC, US 500 are my top 2 choices, or NQ1 exclamation for the NASDAQ futures composite, one of those indices you really want to look at today, because if it starts getting hot in traditional markets, and this is the US 500 Pepperstone, then Bitcoin is probably going to go above my target of 28.2. Can I be clearer than that? I don't think I can. So you need to watch out for the traditional finance indices, or just pick one, because Bitcoin will go above 28.2 if those get hot, with an exceptionally high likelihood, and therefore my target will be, Bitcoin will go over my target, and then essentially its next target is closer to 30,000. Because then it starts breaking above all the resistance resistances we've been talking about, which is the monthly 21 EMA, which it has not broken yet. You have the mid-term time frame lower high zone formed from the yearly high on July 13th, and then you take a here, actually, can I show you this? The 2 hour maybe. So this line is made from the yearly high of July 13th of about almost 32K, 31,850. Then the next high up on August 8th at about 30,200. And that essentially that lower high zone line right here, let me go back to the 15-minute chart. If this zone is broken, all right, and price stays above this after it visits 28,200, then price will, has a dang good chance of making new yearly highs above 31,850. I will repeat that. If the traditional finance markets have a good green day here, because Bitcoin was already going up during pre-markets, and if this turns around, Bitcoin will go up more and harder with the essentially this dragging it up or pushing it up, giving it some extra rocket boosters. If Bitcoin in that situation, which hasn't happened yet, it might not happen, but it's an if-then statement. This is not my main guess. My main guess is still the same. I think Bitcoin's going to get rejected from 28.2. But I'm letting you know, if I'm wrong, this is the main way that this is going to be wrong, and this is exactly how you'll see it. I mean, think about that. Like, what other analyst on crypto YouTube tells you this is what I'm thinking, and if I'm wrong, this is exactly how you'll see that I'm wrong before my guess is wrong. This is what I'm trying to give to you. So that's when you hit the thumbs up and like, because I don't think you hear that stuff a lot, and perhaps I should do that more often. But I think I do it almost every video, but perhaps I'm not as clear with my statements. So this line right here, made from the yearly high and then the next wick high up, it's from July to August. If that is broken and used as support, so for example, Bitcoin goes up to the target of 28.2, then lands on that downward sloping line made by those 2 points on those 2 dates, somewhere around 27,000. So that line right here is about 27,007, 27,800, 27,800 in that range. Bitcoin goes up 28.2, bounces on this. I will draw it out for you so you can see. If it goes like this, boom, and can stay on top, and you see something like that, even when it's under 28.2, that target, but if it bounced on this line, then it's I'm going long. Because it's probably going to go up. And it's probably going to break hard above 22 on its second attempt. And then it'll be to yearly highs, perhaps by tomorrow in that event. It could be very, very fast. Because Bitcoin's been going sideways for so long. This could be explosive, and this could create an explosion. What I just stated is likely my second or third most likely scenario. My first most likely scenario is we're going to get rejected here because we have the monthly 21 EMA. We have the EMA band, the rolling weekly 10 and 21 cross. And we have 28.2, which is our last capitulation line, when Bitcoin went from 28.2 down to 15.5 between June and November of 2022. And remember, as I showed you a highlight from my previous YouTube video, I'm not even thinking about downside price action. Like, I'm not, even though we already know that 22,900 and or 23,800, clearly labeled here. 22.9 is the quarterly or the 3-month 21 EMA, which I don't think has ever been hit, or has only been hit once ever in early Bitcoin history, when it was like, no, it couldn't have been early because it didn't exist then. I apologize. So I don't think this has ever been hit before. But it's the top of the 2-year-long channel at 23,800 and at 22,900, which I think would be hit if the bear channel's hit again at 23,800. Price would likely wick below 23,800 to hit 22,900 and then bounce back above this channel right here. But I don't care about that until 25,200 is broken to the downside. It's not even a conversation on the micro time frames. Now, if we're thinking weekly time frames, what could happen in the next 4 weeks? Sure, that's a topic of conversation. But today and tomorrow, it's not. It's not even open for discussion because this hasn't been hit yet or violated to the downside per that previous video. So right now, all we're looking at is how does Bitcoin. So here's a summary of the only things that you really need to be thinking about. I gotta tell you, this is for short-term price action. Short-term. Because I've already been covering long-term. So for new viewers, if you want to see long-term, I would go to my third most recent YouTube video that covers price for a whole year and projections for that. And that video is about 22, maybe 21 minutes long. My third newest video. the video you're watching now being the newest, for reference. Now, future tillings, if you ever watch this like in the future, in October or after in 2023, then it won't be the newest or third newest video. All right, but third one back from this one. The only things really that you need to be watching out for are not to the downside for short-term price action. The only things to the upside are, how does Bitcoin react to this rolling, how does Bitcoin react to this rolling EMA cross that I showed you how to do? And since it's already there, if it gets above, when it comes back down on the micro timeframes after interacting with 28.2, most likely, does it come down and use this lower high zone as support? And I showed you how to make that descending line from the essentially two highest wicks of 2023 so far. And I gave you the exact dates. That is all that needs to be traded on right now. But if price stays under that slope line and above 25,200 from my other chart, then guess what? You don't need to really pay attention to anything, because price is still just going sideways. So as of now, price is below that, but it's getting really close to the slope line, and it's above 25.2. Therefore, there's technically nothing happening. So why the hell am I talking about price? Because something could happen very soon, because price is approaching the threshold of, if it's used as support, if what I'm pointing at, the lower high zone, if it's used as support, then new highs are going to be made and soon. So be careful that 28.2 could be perfect rejection per my most recent YouTube video. But if you get a perfect rejection and that's used as support, it could fly in your face. And if you're trying to short, you start, oh, Tim, Cosasverdes, they said 28.2. I'm selling my house. I'm going short 100x. No, it could fly up in your face. You have to watch how price reacts to that on the downside. Assuming there would be downside if it hits 28.2 first. You just got Timified worldwide. Peace. Ha!
There are two ways to join the community to get more exclusive content. There are two YouTube tiers, which involve access to private live shows, typically at 12 p.m. noon New York time, Tuesdays and Thursdays, in which the higher YouTube tier also gets daily price updates on Bitcoin and other cryptos. And the Discord community offers multiple events each week, as you can see on this real example of a previous community calendar, which would enable you to jump on the live events, turn on your microphone, share screens with me, share your ideas, so we can knock out any questions that you have. In addition to offering tutorial series and other exclusive content to help you in your crypto journey. And what you can do for free, which is amazingly valuable, is to look at the 12 links from 2021 and 2022, which are both in the pinned comment and near the top of the description section of this video. Those are links to videos in which I made technical analyses that now you know played out. Go back to those videos to see how I was able to use the charts to predict it. It's all for free. I promise I'm here to help you as much as I can in your crypto journey.
July 17th, 2023.
Yeah, Bitcoin broke out of a 2-year-long channel, and it hasn't retested it as support. Look. And all of that could be stimulated. Look, that's 25, 26K. High 25s, 26. And that's a macro bullish pullback that could all be stimulated because the US 500 doesn't put it in higher high. Bitcoin keeps dropping versus that chart, and then Bitcoin falls out of the 8-month-long channel and then has to come all the way down to finally use as support something it hasn't used as support, but only resistance for a 2-year period.
Also July 17th, but during a VIP call.
There is one thing to keep in mind. This 2-year-long resistance has not been used as support one time. Over 2 years, it's only been resistance. Ever. Yeah, I mean, I think it needs to be retested. So keep that in mind as well. That would be my, I don't know, I think that's my second most likely. Maybe even my first most likely, that it finds its way down there. Even if it means, lower lows, lower highs, in the range, try all this again, and then, hits this area, maybe closer to 25 and change. But this line, I think there's an exceptionally high probability that it's going to be retested. And then if all that happens, then we are...
July 20th VIP call.
Comes all the way down to the so this is a 2-year channel. Bitcoin did not get above here for 2 years. Didn't even do a really fake out above it. It got pure rejections for 2 whole years on this line. This moment right here was the only moment in 2 years it got above. And look, there's no retest. So if Bitcoin, assumingly, and very safely assumingly, at some point comes to retest this, it's not a guarantee, but it's very, very, very likely. The whole question is, you have 2 questions. Will the weekly 10 and the weekly 21 uncross? So will they cross back down bearish? And will Bitcoin price then get stuck under the weekly 10, and therefore that bearish cross really, drives it down? Or when this happens, will it be more on a wick and you have a V shape and it gets right back on top of all this and they stay good as is?
July 31st, a daily update for the whole community, including the YouTube tiers.
To the downside, as low as I can see things going, is this is a 2-year-long channel that the 69K top also hit, and it was hit multiple times just in May, multiple times in May, also in April, and it's never been above. Bitcoin recently exploded above it off of the event or the news-driven price action from BlackRock applying for a spot ETF, and it has not been retested. It's an exceptionally high likelihood that it will be retested at some point in the not too far future.
August 2nd, during another daily update video.
I do fully expect a very large bounce if Bitcoin goes anywhere between 24,500 and 25.5. 24.5 and 25.5. I expect a large bounce. It could be into a lower high as opposed to continuation upward. I don't know which one, but I think it should get a good reaction from that $1,000 range.
August 4th, during another daily update video.
To the downside, I still think it's more probable that all this area, so clearly labeled here, and this tri area of interest. So the descending 2-year-long bear channel as 1, and then the top of the horizontal, bottom of the horizontal for 3. So descending line, top and bottom of the horizontal, this tri area here, it might all hit at the same time when they're crossing. So you see how this line is in between here, or it could happen just a little after. But if it happens after, then you're looking at, you're actually would have a green triangle of a bounce area here. Most likely that would be a green. I would not call it a yellow triangle. I'd put that as a green triangle there, and you'd probably get some bounces there. However, if it does, if price comes down into this, 25 and change area, you're going to have extreme support here, and you're at least, it's exceptionally probable that you'll at least bounce into a lower high or more or new highs, but you'll get a bounce here.
Later on in the same video on August 4th.
A lot of times what price does is, so the second way this could go is it just goes like this, and you don't really have much opportunity because it goes down, and most of the move happens in 2 or 3 hours when we're all sleeping.
Which is exactly what happened.
So then your next area to get in is a bounce from here. So it is possible that there's no way to get the trade, right, short, because it just rolls, and it rolls when you're not at your desk, and it only takes 2 to 3 hours to get down there, and it's over, and then your next trade setup is a long.